Yeah, I can see just only by my right eye, but just a little bit is quite blur. Yeah,
Okay.
and right now I am also studying about public policy from the International Institute of Public Policy and Management, University of Malaya in Malaysia. Yeah, subsidized by the AUNDPPNet scholarship.
Yeah.
And thank you very much for having me today. And for what I feel proud during COVID-19 situation, yes, during this COVID-19 pandemic, I have a chance to practice more my skill, especially IT and technical skill. I think that
Yeah.
it will be very useful and very important for us after post COVID-19 situation.
Yeah.
And I also had a very good chance to write the article
Oh.
to tell and to explain about my life and my experience during COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia, and publish it through the online news website in Thailand in order to in order to explain my experience this very difficult situation to the Thai citizens as well. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. Great. Yeah, I guess all of us have enhanced our techno savviness, right, during this. I think myself too. Okay,
So,
to you, Shafiq.
okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dan salam sejahtera and very good afternoon. Ni hao and vanakkam to all of the those who are watching this evening session. My name is Muhammad Shafiq bin Badarulhisham. I am 30 years old. Taking a bachelor degree of computer science, computer system and network. So what are I'm proud during the MCO is Alhamdulillah I'm able to do able to attend the online class as usual. Even I need to adapt what is the normal is for the online regarding about online classes. So before that, before the pandemic happened, we are able to do the class, able to have a class normally. We have if I have any problem, I can I can ask the question as what is for the lecturers and able to find which one we can do what is a group assignment so on. But not and that's why I have able to during the F5 I able to finish up my F5B1. So now I do the final year project too. So even though if the pandemic happen, but still I think I did not feel very give up to finish up my FIP. America always refer to the supervisor and so on. So other than that, I forgot to mention that I am a person with disability and autism, and I would like to wish you and everyone happy International Day of Person with Disabilities 2020. And again, I would like to thanks to organizer ISEE because to give me the chance to as a panelist again. Since some of you are still familiar with me during the last year session, IC 2019, and in this year we heard that we shift the paradigm from physical exhibition to the digital exhibition, and I would like to remind to everyone that okay, as well as myself, stay safe, wear a mask, always practicing physical distance.
Okay.
As well as what I call follow the regular the SOP that provided by the government.
Yes.
So that's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Shafiq. And James.
Thank you, thank you. So I'm going to introduce myself. This is my sign name, JC, James Chua. I'm deaf and also partially blind. And also, yeah, partially blind. And I am a BIM instructor, part-time, working part-time. Looking at the back during the COVID or MCO. So firstly, it's about the Zoom, learning how to use Zoom, because I am a BIM instructor and I have classes to teach. So now, because of the COVID, we have to change it from physical class to a virtual class. So second one, and I look at I look at all the people, they have to wear masks and follow the SOP. For the deaf people, it's very important because we need facial expression, and wearing masks is a hinder, it's blocking the facial expression. So the deaf people, feels very difficult, to communicate, especially when we're having the mask on. So and also I want to share one experience. When we go to the hospital, to get I went to the hospital to get my eye check previously. The previous experience was it's very disappointing as well as frustrating because I have to wait for the nurse to call me, tap me on the shoulder, or sometimes they speak and I have to lip read. It's hard for me to lip read. And a nurse will call when I said, okay, nurse, are you calling me? And the nurse say, oh no, go there and sit down. So sometimes I needed to, to be called and lip read. So and I don't have interpreter. So if during the MCO, everyone's of course wearing masks. So we have difficulty to to speak, to communicate with other deaf people. So what we do is we use our handphones to read and write to each other. So that will help us. Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for the organize this event and invite me to join and to share with you guys my experience, and also wishing you happy International PWD Day. Thank you.
Right. Thank you. Actually, I also want to thank all of you for your participation and to accept the invitation on this platform. Right. As we know, yes, truly COVID-19 has created a new normal for all of us. Right. Some has encountered new problems. And even personally, I've heard many stories from my friends with different disabilities and also challenges in our lives. Right. As you have shared a bit of your experience just now, what kind of support that you have received during your past experience during the lockdown, and also you can share about what are the support that you wish you had. Yeah. So maybe we talk a bit more about your experience and what kind of support you have received thus far, and what kind of support that you wish you have during your pandemic experience.
May I share first?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Yes. In the beginning of COVID-19 situation, at that time, I still stayed in Malaysia. And as mentioned earlier, I also stay in the campus of I would say that one of the very important thing is that the well management from the fellow, because I have to spend nearly almost of my time there during COVID-19 because of lockdown. And I observed that they had a very well management, keep social distancing between us. If I'm not mistaken, there were less than 30 students who are still staying there. But yeah, the fellow still continue to keep social distancing and practice regarding to MCO, movement control order. And at that time, they also create the WhatsApp group in order to distribute the news from the government, the university, and the important information that is important that we need to know.
Yep.
And yeah, I think the information accessibility is very important, especially for blind people. Yes, we also use social network. Why we can use why is useful for us, because we can access it. We can access Facebook through our computer because of assistive audio program, and also we can also use it through our mobile phone as well. Yeah, when the fellow create the WhatsApp group and distribute news, and for me, I am a Thai, I'm not a local. They also have English version as well to give it to let me know. Yes. And in terms of the help from the government, the Malaysian government also distribute the food supply for the all students who were still staying in the campus at that time. Yeah, it's very good. I think it's very good. And however, I decided to come back to my home country. Yeah, and I reserved the queue at the Thai Royal Embassy in Kuala Lumpur through the online platform as well. And when they come back, when I came back to Thailand, yeah, I had to be quarantined, according to the measures measuring to protect us. Even we are Thai or we are non-Thai people, if we need to enter the country, we also have to be quarantined. Until now, we still do that as well. In terms of PWDs, the Thai government also have the extra allowance support to give it to us during this difficult situation. And for the disabled people who made borrowing from the disabled fund of the country, the government also reduced the interest rate for us as well. Yeah, and from the Thailand Association of the Blind, they also created help service in order to send by post some belongings, some important belongings for the blind members, and also have the hotline in order to get the some, how can we call it, something that the member would like to request, some important case or important situation that is very urgent to help. The association will receive this, and also find the one will help them at later. And you can see that especially for blind people, information accessibility is very important. So I would like to share firstly, when I think is might be the same as the other. We have never known before what's coronavirus, but COVID-19 pandemic. We have never faced this situation before. First, at that in the beginning of COVID-19 situation, I felt quite nervous because I felt that if I was infected, if I become infected cases, how can I do that? And at that time, I tried to find the vocabulary, how to say it, like some how can we call it, the organelles, the organs in my body. There are some words, some medical words that I have never used before. Yeah, I prepare myself. And yes, just want to mention that information accessibility is very important, and I would like to support all governmental and private sectors to distribute news or information that is friendly and accessible for disabled people, and especially for the blind as well. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Daniel?
Okay. For autistics, again, because the autism spectrum is so wide, so there's actually many different levels of support needs. My support needs might be very different from another person with another autistic person's support needs. Does that make sense? So our experience during the pandemic can be very different. For some of us who are working in sheltered workshops, in very supported workshop environments, wow, some of them might be having, some of them might find that a lot of their support systems got cut off because they cannot go to the workshop, for example.
Access to services is cut off, right?
Yeah, so there's some difficulty with access to services. For low support needs autistics like myself, there was never much support in the first place. It's almost non-existent. Apart from a few people here and there, like Dr. Pang, thank you. So there is, so what's one of the things which we had previously was we formed our autistic peer support group, so we can little bit try to support each other as peers, but we had to move completely online and we could no longer meet because in person because of the pandemic. And that has affected some of us who are less chatty online and who interact better in person. Then again, for some of us who interact better online, they aren't affected so much. You see, it's not the same for all of us.
So for yourself personally, what kind of support you wish you had? If any?
Myself personally, I'm going to use the word blessed in that I have access to a lot of support systems.
Oh.
Yes,
How do you get the access?
Well, for my family, and because I myself am in this field, so I've also got access to the knowledge on how to help myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You have to become, I hope not everybody has to become a PhD in special education in order to get the knowledge they need to help themselves. That's really sad if all of us have to become doctorates and PhDs in order to understand how to help ourselves better.
Okay, I can teach you one tip, right? How to get access to connect to you, then I can get access, right? Through services and information.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of ways. Yeah.
There's not much, but we a lot of it is learning to help ourselves, unfortunately, because there's really not much services available for low support autistics in Malaysia.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Yeah. Who's next?
Nice. Hi. Yeah, I speak now.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah. All right. For me as a person with total blindness, yes, I do agree that all of us need support for total blind person, especially like food distribution, like what Tip had just mentioned just now. That's all the support that we need for visually impaired and total blindness people, especially in Kuala Lumpur, some of them who are staying alone, they really need someone to distribute the food to them and need many other supports. But right now for me, since I was just staying at home, not yet staying alone, so right now I'll speak about my experience first, some of my experience first, because just now that was just an overall, but not yet really. I'll speak about some of my experience, and after that only go into the supports that I had. All right. So
Okay.
as a person with total blindness, I would consider that this MCO period was almost similar as a total lockdown in other countries. And this is because, as we know, our movements were very restricted as situation of the COVID-19 pandemic is uncertainty. It's really uncertainty, and it really seems like no ending. Yeah. So I also knew that if a blind person like me goes out during this situation, even to run some errands, I'll be exposed to higher risk due to the chances of touch contact that we are normally doing. Therefore, I feel that it is not advisable for the blind and visually impaired person to go out so often during this moment. Yeah, and yeah, this here comes my story. Staying at home with very limited movement throughout the MCO period was a very tough and challenging moment for me because I couldn't go out from the house. And this was my first time not going out from the house for such a long period of time. And I started to feel extremely fearful to go out as the COVID-19 is still active. Sometimes I even felt quite frustrated, lonely, and moody because I could not find any better way to free myself up from my house. I am seeing almost the same situation for majority of my friends, regardless of with disability and or without disabilities, because all of us are staying at home and like being locked down. So yeah, it's quite normal for all of us to have this kind of feelings. Yeah. But however, after a month of living under MCO, I suddenly realized that the way I thought before would not help much in handling such situations. Instead, I began to change my mindset and think positively about the benefits of extending the period of MCO that will eventually help to handle the pandemic situation more effectively and can save more lives. I also started to feel thankful and appreciate the government's effort to control the spreading of the COVID-19. So I received support from my family members and friends during this pandemic, as I just mentioned that I haven't stayed alone yet. Since that time I haven't entered university. I was just waiting. That's why I stayed at home. And what I got the support was from my family members and friends. And how they support me was they cheered me up and told me that even though all of us are facing the same situation, we still can conduct our activities in a new normal way of life. And in order to upkeep the support to my friends, I shared the above with many of my friends, encourage them to think positively as well, and motivate them to move forward with the new normal way of life. I also feel that it is also very important, very crucial for us to maintain the networking between our friends so that we are able to help each other as and when needed. Online sessions like this creates an opportunity for me to share my thoughts and opinions with a larger group. And a very big thanks to the organizer, especially to Dr. Pang, for having me here today, for the invitation for me to be a panelist for this forum. Thank you very much, Dr. Pang.
Pleasure. My pleasure to have you all on board, actually.
Yeah. All right, that's all.
Thank you for your positive experience, Ernest and Adam.
Yeah, thank you.
Is it my turn now?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like the Daniel just now. I I also feel blessed because even though mobility is one of the big issue for
Mhm.
wheelchair bound like me, but I'm grateful because uh, even in the lockdown, me and my wife still managed to go out and to buy groceries and stuff.
Mhm.
Even even buying for other PWDs as well.
Mm.
It's during that time I believe a lot of other PWDs uh, doesn't have what I've been blessed with, and I feel really grateful. You know, uh, even though there's a lot of bad news happen as well. For example, I had to cancel a lot of my hiking trips. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, yeah. I I already planned a year full of hiking activities, and then all of it had to be canceled, and
Oh.
quite frustrations. Yeah, and then some of my uh, 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 liner line up for my hiking trip were really frustrated that they really want to spend a hiking trip with me. For some of them doesn't even have the experience hiking with disabled persons,
Mm.
so it got canceled, and it's really disappoint me because I couldn't hike with them. And uh, also I have business training with as well. Even though we did manage to do the first part of our sessions in PRPP, but with the SOP is quite new, quite hard
Mm.
as well, because we have to do a lot of my sejahtera scan. Sometimes those blind, they don't know where to scan and everything. And then because the second wave came after the Sabah elections, right? And then
Yeah.
we do the second part, so it's a big disappointment.
Mm.
But the other support again, during the MCO is financial support from the government, because the GKP grant kecil penjana really helped my company. They give really support because I hire one PWDs as well. So he quite he's a brother to me, and during the time we cannot do any much of program, so I cannot pay usual. So it's quite hard because I tend to feel responsible for it.
Mm.
But I still feel blessed. I still feel grateful. Uh, Even though the effect, everyone, no matter who you are, get affected by it. Globally, everyone got
Yeah.
affected by it. It's just a measure of how much it affect you. You know,
Mhm.
and psychologically, a lot of during the MCO, a lot of even not even the non-PWDs got affected psychologically. In Selangor, the case of uh, people getting stressed, people getting involved in violence, getting uh, quite in quite huge number, during the MCO, and it just shows that everyone is mental challenge during the MCO. We got the opportunity to go through what those people who can access to mobility in the rural area, in the village area, those PWDs who doesn't have the access to go to anywhere. All of us suddenly become uh, PWDs. You cannot go anywhere, and we get a chance to feel that, and yeah, I think uh, more towards moral support is needed in this MCO, and just like as mentioned, form really, you know majority of the PWDs so that they can share what they've been through, and they get something as well from it. Yeah. That's
How do you upkeep the moral support amongst you and your friends?
again I lost.
How do you upkeep the moral support that you and your friends among you and your friends? How do you maintain the moral support?
Personally, sometimes when I feel really down because my family is in Kuching right now, all of them.
Okay.
So it's been a year already. I haven't go back to Sarawak, seeing my mothers, and two of my families already passed away during this time, and I cannot visit them during when they are ill, and it is quite hard. But I got my wife beside me. Her family is near here, so they do give the support that I need, the moral support that I need. Sometimes, time to times, I this is the blessing technology as well, Yeah. Even though we are from our family, I can still do. The least I can do is video WhatsApp my mom, and this is a blessing, and this kind of thing that one of the thing that I would like to highlight before my turn is the fact that a lot of people got to do work from home. When that is one of the challenges that PWD had to face when they are looking for jobs. Some of the employee would say, "Oh, you cannot go to the office because it's not possible for you to do work from home." But suddenly, during the MCO, everyone work from home. So it just shows that how a matter of implementations.
Correct.
Give the opportunity. Yeah. That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, madam. Okay, James, are you okay?
Yes, I'm okay. Sorry for the interruption. I had some internet connection issue.
Okay.
In fact, the technology help us a lot, especially like the internet. We could still get in touch with them via WhatsApp or Zoom throughout video conferencing during the MCO or the COVID. So we can still keep in touch with our families and friends through that. And we also have a WhatsApp group created for all the deaf for the community so that we get all the access to the latest information and important messages into the community. And also we get from the BIM interpreters, they interpret the news for us. And because the place where I live, I don't have a TV, so usually I will use my phone, the mobile phone. That's the only source that I can watch the BIM interpreters interpret the news from the government. And I live here alone in my house. There's no other people, no roommate other around me. So sometimes it's good to, when you feel alone, you must constantly keep in touch with your friends and family through the technology like online video conferencing. So by adding to that, before the MCO, I already lost my job. I don't have a job. So before the MCO. So after that, I was looking for a full-time job. And it was that time that the MCO hits. the COVID-19, came to our country, and it was very pressuring for me to get a job. Very struggling to get a job too. So the only thing to get us updated and informed is to get online constantly, get online on a regular basis to get the updated news, and through the BIM interpreters.
Okay. Yeah.
That's from me.
Yeah. So you have to be more initiative and make an effort to access the information available. All of us are.
I think I only one that have that yet.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
I would like to not as the support. So for the before the MCO happened, I was planning that I would like to have during the FYP one, which the last semester. Supposedly I need to do an interview session with what you call the client for order to fulfillment in this final project. But however, since the MCO in happened, I almost lost my mind because I already because I was planning that I would like to do the meet and greet with him and with her. It's a her, and I would like to do an interview directly so I can able to see what are the editable that's program or activity I can add it into my application. But however, I don't when I during the MCO happen, first time I think I lost a little bit. And then like, what should I do to that? So I would like to already contact the the owner of the who have a appointment, but somehow they did not give any feedback. Even I thought that be better you do it online, but during that I always contact with the supervisor. Okay, the supervisor said you can do it for next semester. Now it is semester, and alhamdulillah done already. Or as well as for the class for the stay after the the PKPB or what. I already because some of the e-learning I need to quite familiar. The first time I wasn't any familiar because before that I can record the lecture video and so on by the physically. But however, it's very something good. It's a new normal. I need to adaptable with this situation. Whereby even though I think I can do it better, what should I record instead of video? I record an audio order I to do the revision as well as maybe some of the lecture. Very difficult, challenging is to have a group assignment. Before that, it's very easy to meet and greet, and then if I would like to join that group, but I now it's a very difficult for me. So alhamdulillah, some other lecture allow me to do assignment via individually. So other than that, the supporting system from the what you call for the counseling session whereby sometimes I will give the progress of what are they done, what are they have done, and so on, in order to easy to track and manage and then as well as from my parents also always supporting me and giving an encouragement to me to what I done. Maybe regardless of maybe sometimes I feel like little bit meltdown during that day. So alhamdulillah I can handle this session. But however, other than maybe some of the some of them will have little bit the changes the attitude other than change the behavior. For the good one before the MCO, there is nothing happened. There wasn't any. I have my third son is is also autistic, and and also say a work with his niece, but somehow even though before that I still there is I need to balance it between activities and co-curricular activity co-curricular as an academic. But now when the MC however, I need to re-adapt that, which is I need to re-adapt between activities and the homework or housework that provide my mom, we say cooking, and then jaga adik, and so on. I have anak adik ketiga, which is autistic, whereby he's always frequently going to toilet, suddenly about 5 minutes or 10 minutes, very straight time, and then he's, even though he's like, sometimes the parent maybe is like, maybe some of them like a little bit fed up, I need to, but I can say that it's a acceptance lah, because bertabak mean acceptance lah, those who have this autistic children lah, those children. So
yeah, because of MCO, you stay at home, so you get to help around your family needs, right?
That's true. The special need, there are a lot of impact, and also sometimes he doesn't want to eat. Instead, he want to drink a unfiltered tap water, which is from the toilet one. And then he doesn't have any feeling. But even though it's like, okay lah, I think we need to acceptance lah, I think. Tapi kalau pukul pun, apa gunanya kan? It's better lah. And then kadang-kadang only 2-3 days is a good behavior, but somehow I think one of the days is like a little bit slightly changes. The habitual is repetitive, and sometimes we need to put the mark on the calendar, which one they have behavior or not. And sorry, before this, I would like to say that even though we have anak, wherever you stay home, work at home, it say you need to have a shift job, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours lah. For me myself, even though I need to struggle to finish my FIP, but there is no reason that I did not left behind with my FIP and the housework. Even though it's very, very busy lah, other than this is my study session during the MCO as well as there's my adik. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, each of us have a different experience. Thank you for sharing your experience. Every time I meet my friend with disabilities, they will always share and really give me a lot of insights about, understanding about your life and how we live differently and how we see things differently. Yeah. So let's move on. Yeah. Looking back, each of our life is so different. Yeah. How do you think the world in general perceive the abilities of PWDs? And, in your observation, right? So we move on to the next question. So what are your thoughts that how we can build a better network to connect with each other in this time of constant change in our life?
Excuse me, Dr. Fong, can I speak now?
Oh, okay. Ernest, okay.
I would like to share first.
Yeah.
Yeah. So about this question, actually, I fully agree that we as people with disabilities need to do something in order to change the mindset of people about our abilities. I think every one of you agrees, right?
Yeah.
So we people with disabilities should not be treated differently compared to people without disabilities. We also deserve the rights to be accepted, respected, and given an equal opportunity like everyone. As a person with total blindness, I can do many things like what my sighted peers can do. I'm seeing our abilities are actually almost the same as many people, just that sometimes we do things differently. That is why I will always tell the public to look at what we can do, trust us, and use us. We are the untapped resources in the society. Actually, so currently, I am aware that many people are trying to advocate the public about the mindset and headset towards people with disabilities, like the session we are having right now. And I would like to advise the public to join the people with disabilities with an open heart. Yeah, public event like ISEE Youth Forum is a good opportunity for many people to network, connect, understand more about people with disabilities and even our abilities. That's all from me for this question.
Okay, thank you, Ernest. See the opportunity.
May I be the next one?
Sure.
All right. Yeah. As you mentioned earlier, I also agree with you. I also think that persons with disabilities should be treated the same as non-disabled people. It will also change the mindset of the publics. That's why, because in the past, PWDs was considered as the takers from the societies. The publics always think that, oh, PWDs are so poor, so pity, we need to give blah 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 to them, and it will also make PWD will become takers automatically. Yeah, when PWDs would like to be a part of the society, we also have to share, we also have to contribute something benefit to the society as well. I it doesn't mean that you need to do the very amazing things, but we just have to do your best. For example, if you are the employees, you also have to work on your base. It no need to use the issue of disability to excuse to do something. Yeah, and make normalization with the others in the publics. Yeah, is very important. Um, and the coalition is also important as well. The DPOs, or disabled people's organizations, is considered as the representatives, the connectors. I think the connectors between individuals with disabilities and the governmental sectors. Yeah, they need to advocate. Yes, they need to do that, and they also need to negotiate between individuals and the governmental sector as well, in order to change, to amend, or to recreate any policy or any measures. For example, during this COVID-19 pandemic, yeah, they also have to be responsible, yeah, to help their members and also find a solution with the government during this period for the disabled people as well. Yes, I think is normal, the same as another communities. They also have to do like that as well. So yeah, I also would like to support the thought that people with disability also have to do the same as other people in the society as well. Try your best and try to be a potential member on the society as the others as well. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Point taken. From the mindset of being a taker to a contributor, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Adam?
Hello?
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with the my friend by Tip and also Ernest. Yeah, the effect on the pandemic affecting everyone, but at the same time, there should be an empowerment mindset of setting, empowerment setting of of the society, where in this crisis, uh, the PWDs are among the groups that considered as, you know, they say, when they close down certain value or certain questions, PWDs are among the leads that they said to the the education and so on, and this kind of thing give a lot of negative impact, and a lot of psychological kind of impact towards the individual with disability. For example, uh, employment as well, uh, and one of the thing that I would like to emphasize is how we should manage informations. How we should manage informations, not bring a negative impact towards the we mentioned here the PWDs, not to give more negative impact towards the PWDs. And recently, our senators of PWDs were as the new chairman Nama, and that's a good thing. That's a good initiative provided by the Malaysian, and this usually people who have that kind of access doesn't really understand how to spread certain information, what to include in the informations, and we hope, all of us are hoping that with these new changes, like our senator will give in a really important plot, in building a better community, and we hope that will bring a new positive and effective, as well as inclusive impact on all of us. I think informations are really important. How you manage it? Is it truly giving the right info even towards the PWDs or not, or the non-PWDs, and at the same time we would like to thank to the NGOs or the agency and the NGIs, just like Dr. Pang here, conducting a lot of online platform, still giving the chance for the PWDs to vote out their needs, their concerns, and then today is not, for me myself personally. I don't view PWDs national days for only PWDs to celebrate. It's actually a chance for all of us to make it as a day for everyone to be inclusive.
Yeah.
That is the most important thing. It is not the PWDs day is not to celebrate just how proud of us being PWDs, but at the same time we're taking the advantage of celebrating non-PWDs. They know we are part of you, and we will forever be together in empowering the society as a whole. Yeah.
Correct.
It's good
Agree.
to be united, and the pandemic shows us how being united is the most powerful key. In the increasing new cases. If one person doesn't give the cooperations, person will be a big spreader, and be affected. Will be affecting other people and so on. So being united is the key, and one of the way to be is to understand each other, and this is you take this as a way to understand the perspective between why is it important for the non-PWDs and PWDs to understand each other.
Yeah, correct. That's why this forum, one of the aim for me is like for people to understand us. We need to speak up and tell them about what we want and what's our needs, right? So it goes into a cyclic movement where everybody should come together, right? Thank you. Yeah. Daniel, are you okay?
I'm okay. I'm okay. Sorry about that, folks. For autism, nowadays people are aware of what autism is. There was a period where nobody really knew what it was. People certainly didn't know what it was back when I was in school in Malaysia. But I would say the acceptance isn't there yet, especially in employment. Right now, we are still okay lah. Right now, we're still there's still an issue of being included in society because the accommodations are still not being made for us to be included in society yet in Malaysia. Some of us have had some opportunities, like there is some access to further education now. For example, in UM and in USM, we've got some representatives here from UM and USM, but this is not universally true. There is little support across the further education choice universities. If you cannot get into USM and UM, how? There's limited places there.
Yeah? We are progressive.
Yeah, we are progressing. We are progressing, but it's moving quite slowly. I mean, like not too long ago, only very recently we had the Disabilities Act, and very slowly after the Disabilities Act, then we got the disabled parking, for example. So it is progressing, but it's progressing slowly. Recently, we had the no reject policy that was in our previous government under Dr. Masli, who's unfortunately no longer in charge. But that's some progress. But they implemented the policy. But we have yet to see but there's still issues of how to implement the policy. So there is some progress, but it's still moving, but it is progressing quite slowly. I think us here as members of the disabled community, we need to keep pushing and we need to keep advocating for ourselves. And we need to keep making ourselves visible and saying like, hey, I need work. I have the qualifications. Where's your Disability Act, which is supposed to be saying no, companies do not have a right to reject me? Where is the implementation of this policy? Things like that. So as we go out there and we look for work, these are issues which we'll be pushing. We are pushing and we're continuing to push.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like person with disability, we also need to equip with knowledge of our rights, right? We have our PWDs Act in Malaysia. We also have United Nations Convention on the Rights of Disabilities. All these we should at least get the basic knowledge of it. So when we want to, go forward to progress our rights, then all this should be in hand so that things will be move faster. Is it? Okay.
Yes.
So, is it?
Can I add one more note? So, for example, those two exact policies, things which you mentioned, the Disabilities Act and the UN Convention, which you've signed. For example, we do have, for example, there's this informal group called the OKU, Harapan OKU group, which is a group which includes lawyers and us, which they are, for example, we've got some advocates who are looking at what part which part of the act we call what it does well and what it doesn't do well, and we're looking at this, and we're looking at the implementation of the policy.
Yeah. Yeah, correct. So, as of course, as person with disability, monitor and evaluate the implementation of the policy. But of course,
That's
there
right.
is the avenue for a more united effort to come together. And when we come together, of course, our voice is louder. Right?
Yes.
So if you're
That's
alone, they
absolutely
shout.
correct.
Not shout already. Okay. How about James?
So for me, firstly, I see what is the meaning of communication. For us, they see us like there's communication barrier when it comes to career advancement or job seeking, hunting. The first thing they see us, oh, we are deaf. It's communication barrier. But that's not the point. It is about our skills, our qualification, about what we can contribute and do. So secondly, I see a lot of story, about deaf. The term deaf and dumb. Deaf and mute, all the terms used. For us, we are deaf, but we are not dumb. No. And we are not mute. Okay. So, because our voice is, we express our voice through the sign language. An interpreter helps bridge the gap, helps becomes our voice. So we definitely not mute. So the World Federation of the Deaf, the WFD, World Federation of the Deaf, Steve, the founder or the CEO, have established, network throughout, globally. And also in Malaysia, we've seen the government have do something for us, for the community, that is to recognize BIM or Malaysian Sign Language as the national sign language, which is very happy for us. And do you know that, when you're talking to a person, be it with your friend or your family, you can also use sign language to communicate. You don't have to use spoken language. You don't have to feel shy. There's nothing wrong about it. Because when you see a deaf people, try to communicate with them. Don't run away, even though you don't know sign language. That's why we encourage the public so much, to take part to learn sign language. To learn sign language, because it's not only help to communicate with the deaf people, but also you can use it in your daily life. And we are also aggressively promoting BIM, constantly, aggressively. And some people, like, when they see us using sign language, they think we are very awkward or weird. So I encourage the public to view us as equally. Sign language is just another language, and change your mindset and begin to accept us. So don't think that we are low educated. or we don't know, we don't have the, we didn't learn. So, but if anything, you want to communicate with us, especially companies that has deaf employees or staff, if there is formal or any emergency, any important news, please hire a BIM interpreter to inform. Yeah. So, for example, this event is very helpful for bringing in Jonah as an interpreter to interpret for me everything, and also that's very helpful to so that I can understand the whole process and the whole event. Try to change your perspective towards the deaf community, not communication barrier, but what we can do and our skills.
Okay, noted.
Thank you so much.
I also have to learn that. I mean, we also have to learn. Yeah.
So,
Thank you. And how about Shafiq? You have a
okay. For my opinion regarding this mindset, so okay, for me in this situation whereby in the university we need to have a like the inclusiveness for those who are, for example, to give it the chance to invite our join is the arts sport and so on, the event that organized by the either the I call the Bristol College as well as the what I call student body as well, in order to get an inclusiveness for all PWDs, not just for the what I call just for the normal person, but it open to everyone. So if they want to the acceptance in order this. And then another thing is, even though it's like at least one or two person to be a joint, as well as we have another is like budget for Canada or MPP. At least we want to have at least one or two OKU in order to join them, and that's where they can learn what are the system and what are the we can learn how to they do how to so on. So we can gonna learn how to organize as well as. And secondly, even though it's the group try to what I call try not to what I call the discriminate those PWDs in order to join the what I call the in order to grow join the growth assignment at the vice versa as a pioneer project, because at least really they can give them to learn how to make the find the data, like to collect the data. We need to the creator of the group assignment, not just give them to do like we can do that, or this person will do the what I call conclusion only. Why this is something wrong, but actually they can prove that this OKU or PW person they prove that they can do it, not just give it don't only give the part. So it's like a little bit a lot of things that it is a little bit of cliche, or the worst case scenario, even though it's like some of them they don't give a chance to even though give an insert into the group assignment, but did not do anything. It's like they think that that person does not need to do. So it's a something wrong. We need to open the mindset toward the institute students. This OKU or PWD student, they can be a successful like the others. So other thing is those who are inside the campus inside the campus or community part on the tactile, which is the blind payment, please tell them to move away that vehicle. Otherwise, it can be dangerous to those who are person with visually impairment. So if you want, because to implement to totally easy, but it's like a repetitive action. So we need to open the mindset toward the public. Say, don't once, but you need to always to help that society. So
Yeah.
like
I guess you want to say we need to always be proactive, right?
yeah,
Wherever we stage of life, for example, you're in university, dealing with your classmates, you need to also be proactive. So it's a
yeah,
two-way role that we are playing with, right?
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So Miss that in like I say, don't like a very shy, not to go, but at least you try to go say, cik, boleh alihkan kenderaan tu. So at least people know. Or if you think that no, there's no people inside the car, you can at least try to add the administration, the admin, and the admin will announce it through the loudspeaker to ask them to move
Okay.
the vehicle.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this for me, my opinion about to change their mindset now, just not just inside the our community, but outside the community also need to have the same situation.
Yeah. Wherever we are.
Yeah, wherever we, especially those. That is so this like because this phone very pangai. So
Yeah.
so it's like in other ways, we need to change the panimala toward the person who are always will be the repetitive and habitual lah. So in order to get a better Malaysian. So
Yeah,
that's
sure,
all for
sure.
me.
Yes, it's our effort together. Right, we have another 10 minutes. Yeah, maybe just move to the last part of our discussion. So as we have shared your experiences, you're looking at, rebuilding, right? So if you look at the theme for the International Day of Person with Disability, is that rebuilding the block towards a more inclusive community. So looking at rebuilding a more inclusive world in this post-COVID, because we are looking forward, right? So how can we reshape or rethink or restart so that we can have a better future together? So maybe you can share about your wish for the post-COVID world. Ernest, you want to start?
Sure. I would like to start first. Yeah. Okay. Can you hear my voice right now?
Yes.
Okay. Just to make sure. So okay. For the post-COVID thing, my wish is that to the general public in Malaysia, please look at our abilities and give us a chance, as what I had just mentioned just now. That means look at our abilities. Yeah. Since all of us can be equally treated and like normal people, like people without disabilities. So we don't need people to pity us. Yeah. And treat us as a typical person and support us when we need the support. Yeah. So my final message to everyone, as we are living in a digital era now, that means right for the post-COVID is my final message is that no matter how difficult is the situation that you are facing, like what we are facing right now, everything online, no matter how difficult it is, never give up. And there are always options for solution, as many things are possible. Yeah, that's all for my sharing today. Thank you.
Thank you. Hey, you want to share first?
Me. Okay. This regarding about the wish or the is even though wherever you are, ever whether you know something you have seen, something you have do everywhere around the world or around the community, even though we had it, we need to we need to have a new something even though online learning, online courses, even though we have even we have a difficulties of the internet connectivity, maybe we can try a solution in order to get, maybe either some of them we're going to pusat internet to get, in order to get a better internet access. We don't want to give a reason why I cannot study, why we cannot. We want to find a reason whereby we want to try to find a solution. Only that, other than that, wherever we are disability, wherever we are this, maybe we can learn something through by the online, but in either webinar, other than e-learning, we can find another, maybe we have online, like maybe we can learn something new, like those who are unfamiliar for the online learning before, maybe now they have know how to use a platform, either Google Meet, Zoom, WebEx, and so on. If the people we say then you can give the solution to others and not keep it to yourself, but you need to share it to the other guys. Other than that, for the student, and for the other student, use the, even though it's like we think for the others not suggested for the student, try to learn something new regarding about situation whereby if you haven't tried, try it, or you will keep it very shy until now, you will until forever you will get lost forever. And then thirdly is, no matter other the entrepreneurship, I read the newspaper of the article is, even though it's a person with disability, but it is not obstacle that they can open the nasi lemak store in order to pull that his dream. Don't mean that it's like but I would like wish you happy this lah.
Yeah, I think what you want to say is we always keep learning, right? Learning doesn't stop. And
learning doesn't stop. Yes, and then for the student, try to always consult with the lecturer.
Get help, get support.
If you're there, if you are not, if someone doesn't understand what are the content and so on, don't you just listen only the lecture, did not give the feedback.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Thanks for me. Thank you.
Okay, Tip?
Yes, doctor.
Yeah.
All right.
So what's your wish for post-COVID world?
All right. For post-COVID world, yeah, I wish that I mean person with and also without disability can understand each other more. Yeah. I hope that we get this point after COVID-19 pandemic. And as our friend mentioned earlier, the technology is going to be very, very powerful in our life. And I also, we need to, we work from home, we make the online, we study through online platform, we do everything through online or digital technology. Yes, it may be okay for most of us, but when you create something new, some innovation or some technology devices, please don't forget to think about PWDs as well, how they can use it. For example, for a person with especially I should say especially person with a visual impairment, when if the web developer create the website that is not accessible for us, we cannot do anything on in this website. So I just want to share that please think about accessibility with a person with disabilities as well through the digital technology. And I also would like to add some more issue. even though we are in the very, very developed century, our 21st century, we can go to the space, we can do everything beyond than we used to think about it before. But we are also facing one of the important issues, that is the gender equality.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the gender equality. For the girls and women without disabilities, they may also be discriminated. But can you imagine for girls and women with disabilities, they are double discriminated by disability and also gender. Yeah, I would like to I would like to call for um, to support them, to protect them, especially from the violence against women and girls. And they also should have the right to be protected by the law, and also should have the right to access the information in order to improve, in order to take care of themselves, regarding Republic Health as well. Yes, these are the points that I would like to mention for the world post COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mm.
Yeah. Adam?
I lost just now. Thank thank you
Mm.
for letting me coming back.
Yeah.
Okay, my last word for this session is that, you know, hopefully next year's that we can gain more access. You know, even though we don't know yet what the future may hold for all of us, but I hope that for the PWDs community, especially in Malaysia, we can keep each other supported, keep each other united, no matter what kind of disability or impairment you have, and engage more and create more platform for each of us to gain access. It's very important to gain access, especially in informations. For me myself, once you don't have the access, even though you're not blind, you will be. And if you have the access for information, even though you're blind, for me myself, you will not be blind. Information is very important, and the the people who in charge of it, in managing the information, should be aware, just like Tip mentioned just now, be aware of your community, those how can they engage with the information, how can they use the information, and how can they spread the information as well. Yeah, so that just just like Tip said just now, not just being a taker, but also a giver. So the least we can do for each other is stay in coming. What can we do for each other? Yeah, I think that's the biggest point that I would like to emphasize.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Jane?
So for me, from the deaf community, we also same with the other disability, you know, and it's also very important for us to have an open mind, open heart. We want all of us to, live equally, have the same job opportunity, the level of education, to career, and also that give us, opportunities, give us chances. Look at us not for our disability, but our quality and our certification, what we can do. And try to communicate with us, try to talk to us, Don't look at us and run away. That's that's the thing I wish to, post-COVID. that will change the mindset. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And Daniel?
The usual refrain is that we are looking for a more inclusive society, a more diverse society which accepts diversity. We keep asking for this. I wanted to take some, are we short on time? I wanted to sort of explain what we meant by that.
Yeah.
I'm going to give an example of a country which has very poor inclusion, very not accepting of diversity. That would be France. France, as you know, is, I'm going to put up a link. France, as they are well known for not recognizing the existence of ADHD, for example. And they just don't acknowledge it exists. And they are, it's the most nationalist country in the world. They are very proud of their culture. They want everybody to follow the same culture. And God forbid if you follow a different religion or different culture from the rest of everybody else there. See, as an autistic, our problem isn't so much in the physical facilities. As an autistic, our problem is fitting in. So we'll always have difficulty fitting in, and we'll always be different from other people. We'll always be it. And what we kind of need is a society which accepts differences, which is willing to accept, okay, some people, they may be foreigners, they may be autistic, they may have different beliefs from us, they may have a different religion, they may have a different culture, they may be a different race. That's okay. We kind of need an inclusive society which is accepting of differences, where it is not okay to ridicule minority religions like it is in France. That's socially acceptable. Goodness knows why, but it's socially acceptable to mock minority religions in France. Okay, and that's what we need that here too. We need schools. We need our schools to embrace everyone. We need our education system to embrace everyone. Just this January, we had people saying like, how can we put up Chinese New Year decorations and Selamat Tahun Baru Cina in school? What's wrong with these people? We need to be included in our schools, whether we are autistic, we are blind, or we are deaf. We need to be included, which might mean we need maybe BIM should be an optional subject for everybody, for example. Okay, so it's things like this which we hope to see. It's not going to change overnight just because of the pandemic. As advocates, we need to keep fighting. We need to keep working and pushing for changes to change the society and say, hey, we need to, just because we want to be part of your world. We need some help. Let us be with you guys.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for the summary. Yes, thank you so much again for joining this webinar to share about your lived experiences, hopes, and aspirations. I believe your sharing has provided very meaningful insights for me, myself, I guess for the participants, the attendees, and of course for myself, for me to rethink my role as an academic presently, and also my lifelong role as a supporting friend to PWD, like all of you here. I believe your voice is heard. Do you believe? So your voice is heard and you have made an impact in the field of disability studies and in special education. And I believe your voice also has contributed to the building block for us to progress So it's an ongoing progress that we need to work hard at each stage and every step, right? Towards an inclusive, an accessible and sustainable post-COVID-19 world. Yeah, and those friends who are watching us, yeah, I hope to get your support also. Yeah, to cheer every one of us, yeah, to work together in collaboration, right? It's just not only 7, 9 of us working here, but all of us should come together, right? And especially in this platform in ISEE Digital, of course, hopefully next year we have a different style, right? So we have to adjust and adapt to the movement of the world, right? So you can support us and give us some comment and encouragement to cheer us, right? As we take our time to rethink, reshape, and of course, restart, okay? So this is December and today is International Day of Persons with Disabilities. December is time for us to wind down. And of course, if we can restart and reshape our thinking, right? Always start with our thinking. We can move on to a better tomorrow. So in conclusion, I truly believe that your voice has set the momentum, right, to facilitate change amidst the current challenge and opportunity and complexity of life. Right. Thank you so much, really, from the bottom of my heart. Okay. Yeah, so impressed by your sharing. Yeah, you can see the chat also got a lot of encouragement from the people for supporting us. Right. Can we end by taking another group photo? Yeah, can the technical team help us to take a group photo? And then we can wish everyone a happy day. Okay, maybe we can take a group photo. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. 1, 2. Yeah, is it taken? One more? Again, okay. One more? Oh, okay, a lot of support. Thank you so much for your support, for joining us here. Okay, shall we end by saying Happy International Day? Maybe say together, all right?
Yeah.
On your mic. Yeah, and James can sign. So Happy International Day of Persons with Disabilities. Okay, let's do together. Okay, 1, 2, 3.
Happy
International Day of
Day of Persons with Disabilities.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.